I never believed in curses. At least, not until the day I found that painting. It was just another Saturday afternoon, and I was browsing through the dusty aisles of a local thrift store, looking for something cheap, something unique, anything that might brighten my apartment. That's when I saw it. An old oil painting, almost fading into the background, depicting a lone figure standing at the edge of a foggy forest. There was something unsettling about the eyes. They seemed to follow me, almost pleading or warning. I bought it for next to nothing, maybe $10. Cheap, right? But from the moment I brought it home, nothing felt right. Shadows seemed darker. The air in the room felt heavier. And that's when the dreams started. At first, they were small, whispers I couldn't place, fleeting shapes at the corner of my eyes. But soon, everything escalated. And by the end, my family would never be the same. This isn't just a story about a painting. It's about what happens when curiosity turns into obsession, and how a single object can drag you into a nightmare you can't wake up from. It started subtly. I placed the painting on the wall, opposite my couch, right in the living room. I don't know why, but I felt drawn to stare at it, almost as if it demanded attention. The figure's eyes, they weren't quite human. At first, I thought it was just the angle of the paint, the shadows cast by the room. But the more I looked, the more they seemed alive. The first night, I heard it, a faint scratching like fingernails against wood, coming from the corner of the room where the painting hung. I froze, my heart hammering. The sound stopped as quickly as it started, leaving only the silence of my apartment, heavier than usual. I told myself it was nothing, a mouse, the wind, my imagination. But it didn't stop. A week later, my younger brother, Sami, was over. He was 12 at the time, curious, fearless, and annoyingly bold. He stood in front of the painting, tilting his head. "It's watching us," he said, a small frown creasing his forehead. I laughed nervously. "It's just a painting, Sami. You're imagining things." But I noticed his hands trembling slightly. That night, I woke to a whispering voice, low, unintelligible, coming from the direction of the painting. I told myself I had a nightmare. But when I turned on the light, the figure in the painting seemed closer. I could swear its posture had shifted, leaning slightly forward, its eyes staring directly at me. The incidents grew bolder. Objects in the apartment started moving. At first, small things. A mug on the counter, a spoon on the table. Then, bigger things. One morning, I found the couch cushions moved into a strange pattern, almost like someone had sat there, but no one had. And there were footprints, faint, wet-looking, leading away from the painting across the floorboards, vanishing at the door. My parents started noticing too. My mom, always rational, mentioned that she felt cold fingers brushing her arm while cooking. My dad, a skeptic, heard laughter childlike but distorted, echoing in the hallway. Sami refused to sleep in his room. It's in the walls," he whispered, trembling. I thought he was joking. One night, around midnight, I woke to the sound of crashing glass. I ran toward the noise and found the front window shattered, shards scattered across the floor. The painting was still on the wall, untouched, but the figure had moved. Now, it wasn't at the center. It was positioned at the edge, like it had shifted closer to the room itself. I slammed my eyes shut, telling myself it was impossible. Then it happened. Sami disappeared. I remember the panic like it was yesterday. I woke to find his bed empty, the blankets cold, his favorite stuffed bear abandoned on the floor. I screamed for my parents, but they were in the kitchen, frozen, staring at the wall. The figure now seemed to reach out, arm extended, almost as if it had taken him. The police searched, neighbors joined in, but there was no trace, not a single clue. No signs of forced entry, no footprints, no hints of where he had gone. Just gone. That's when the full horror settled in. My parents refused to go near the painting. I wanted to burn it, smash it, throw it into the river, but every time I tried, something stopped me. Something invisible, something cold. A force pressing down, heavy and suffocating. Whispering threats, sleep became impossible. Sleep became impossible. Nights stretched endlessly. Shadows moved against the grain of the walls. The whispers weren't just at night. They followed me into the kitchen, the bathroom, even the living room in daylight. The painting, it thrived on our fear. I could feel it feeding off it, growing stronger, bolder, and then came the visions, not dreams, not hallucinations, visions. I saw Sami, or someone who looked like him, wandering through endless corridors of fog. His face was pale, eyes wide, mouth open in silent screams. I tried to reach him in the vision, but the fog swallowed him, and a hand, dark and shadowed, pulled him further in. I woke, drenched in sweat, feeling the cold grip of his absence in my chest. We moved. My parents insisted it was for safety, for sanity. But even in a new apartment, far from the thrift shop and the painting, the terror didn't leave us. I never unpacked that painting, never dared. It remained wrapped in the corner of the storage room. And sometimes, at night, I hear the whispers. Sami's voice, or maybe it's mine, imagining it. Come, play. My parents barricaded themselves behind doors, refusing to enter the room where it was stored. I tried rationalizing its psychological trauma, grief, guilt, but logic fails when shadows have weight, when eyes in paint follow you, when one glance at a canvas can twist reality. Months passed. Life continued, but Sammy never returned. The police closed the case. Friends and relatives tried to comfort us. I went back to the thrift store, desperate to understand. Nothing. The store claimed no knowledge of the painting, no record of a sale. It was as if it had never existed. Then I realized maybe it hadn't. Maybe I had invited something into my life, fear and attachment. Maybe the painting wasn't an object at all. It was a doorway, a lure, a trap. And maybe, just maybe, Sami had been claimed, not because he was the first to notice the eyes. Even now, I keep the apartment locked, lights on, the painting hidden under a tarp in storage. But sometimes, when the air grows thick, I swear I see the figure at the edge of my vision, leaning forward, watching, waiting. I can't sleep without checking the storage room. I can't eat without feeling the brush of unseen fingers on my shoulder. My parents live like ghosts, their smiles hollow, their eyes searching for a child who may never return. And me, I live in constant vigilance, knowing that curiosity doesn't die, and that some objects, some paintings, never forget. The painting remains, wrapped, silent, waiting, and I have no doubt it's only a matter of time before it decides it's ready for another visitor. As for Sami, I dream of him, always at the edge of fog, always reaching, always calling. But I wake to emptiness, and sometimes in the dead of night I hear it, the soft, unmistakable whisper of a child I will never hold again, beckoning from the other side. Because some curses aren't just stories, some are warnings, and some are waiting.